Ladies and gentlemen, this is like really crazy, and it don't stop, and I don't think it's gonna stop, and it shouldn't stop, by the way. So what I have here, let me just show you real quick and break this down real fast. I got a copy of another indictment. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say indictment. Another lawsuit against P. Diddy from a guy named Carrol Tremayne, or Tremayne Carrol, or whatever that is. And this is a transgender, I get confused with all this trans stuff. It's the transgender guy that's locked up. He's locked up now. I also want to clear this up too before we get started, so it don't look like we pump faking here. This copy that I have here is transcribed. Okay, I had somebody transcribe it for me, and they typed it all out because this guy is in prison and he can't, you know, type it or whatever the case is. He hand wrote it, and it was really hard for me to read because it was a copy sent in, and then once the, you know, so I did have it typed out so I can read it clearly, and I'm gonna go through it with you all in the typed form, but I just wanted you to see that we do have the original on top of that, you know what I'm saying? So to make sure we all know it's legit, and this is 1000% legit, like not 100, not 99.999 like I normally say, 1000% legit. Anyway, his name is Tremayne Carrol, and the first thing that, well, let's go back. It's a lawsuit against P. Diddy for sexual assault and Gavin Newsom. Now, he's not saying that Gavin necessarily did nothing. He just put everybody, all these different people names in there for whatever reason. But we don't have to get into that because that's not the main point that we're talking about. And we'll probably come back and cover that more in detail. But for right now, I want to go over what happened. So this guy, the first thing he wanted to mention is that he was black. He's black. Plaintiff Carrol, who's a black ADA, hearing, mobility, vision impaired trans woman, falsely imprisoned in the California Department of Corrections on his 27th year of 25 to life. So he got life in prison for grand theft conviction. Now it's hard for me to keep sitting there calling a man a woman. So I'm going to refer to him as a man like he is. And that's out of all respect. I cannot do that. I don't want to do that. I don't want to get into that. Don't argue. Don't debate with me. This is what I said. So in 1996, after being released from California Youth Authority, Heman G. Stark's youth training school plaintiff was introduced to bad boy CEO Sean Diddy Combs by plaintiff's NBA star cousin Chris Doe and his best friend Dion Doe. After a party hosted by another NBA star, Paul Doe, Sean Diddy Combs needed security in the LA area as this was the height of the East Coast, West Coast, in other words, the Tupac Biggie war. Now, I tried to cross-reference and figure out who these NBA players are, and I wasn't sure enough to throw nobody's name out there, okay? But except for, I'm going to just step out there and say this one. I think he's talking about Chris Bosh. That's what I think. Miami, Chris Bosh. All right. 2 + 2 is 4, but I don't know. I could be wrong there. I could be wrong, but Chris is a little suspect. You know, you see how he used to, I don't know, the way he moved around. But, you know, this ain't about Chris Bosh. This is about the guy and what's going on with P. Diddy. And this now, I want to warn you too, that this get much more interesting than what you think. Way more. It is crazy. So later, Sean Diddy Combs invited plaintiff to hang out in Studio City, where defendant Combs drugged and sexually assaulted plaintiff, which the plaintiff is being the same guy we just got into talking about, Tremayne Carrol. You know what I'm saying? So that's what he is saying that happened there. The plaintiff Carrol had been molested by his stepmom from ages 5 to 13. And I gotta say his on top of that, because it'll get confusing. And I don't like that. In December of 1996, plaintiff was falsely arrested for robbery that defendant Combs hired an attorney to get dismissed. So if you notice what I did, I went through here and I'm just covering all like the relevant points, because I don't want to go through like 14 pages of just a lot of legal stuff, because y'all probably don't care about all that. The point is that what's going on in the P. Diddy case. So in August 1998, plaintiff was arrested for robbery in which Sean Diddy Combs provided the money for bail after being contacted by plaintiff's cousin. So he got proof here. So he got his cousin is involved, and whoever, hey, cuz, hey, cuz, if you see this video and you're willing to come and verify this for us, could you, you know what I'm saying, about him, P. Diddy bonding your cousin out of jail for the robbery? Because that kind of set it off. Because even though we know that the paperwork is legit, we don't necessarily know for sure if this story is adding up. But I went through it. When I first came across it, I went through it and I concluded that it's a lot of truth in here based on how it's laid out. I just, you know, you can kind of feel a lie and kind of scramble through it, but either it's all true. No, I don't think all of it is true, by the way. It's a lot of stuff that he said, but the stuff I highlighted, I believe is. But that's what I believe. I don't know. This is what he said, and I don't know the guy. And hey, cuz, if you can get him on the phone with us, that'd be nice too. So just hit us up. The email is in the description. So in 2019, the plaintiff had to allow Dr. Clayball at Salinas Valley State Prison to rape him in order to start gender dysphoria treatment and transition to womanhood. I don't know. Look, I was gonna look that up. I don't even know. Doctors raping people. I don't know nothing about that stuff. So anyway, RJD staff, Carrol Sanchez, Carrol Rucker, and others falsified RVRs and had plaintiff busted in the head with a boulder that shouldn't have been on any prison yard. Plaintiff was again falsely imprisoned in solitary confinement when RJD hiring authority approached plaintiff with a cell phone and phone number. This is where things get really interesting at, because if he lying, this is going to get shot down real fast. But it didn't get shot down because it's evidently, obviously, and for surely some things that's said in here true and can be verified. So the plaintiff called the number that, you know, they gave him the telephone. He called the number and it was P. Diddy on the phone. You know what I'm saying? So plaintiff called the number and it was Sean Diddy Combs telling him that Marcus Pollard is family, leave solitary confinement, and it's all good. Defendant Pollard told plaintiff they needed me to go back to a facility. Now watch this, with Suge Knight, and get all the information I could on the murder of Tupac Shakur. Now, there's some very interesting things about this Tupac Shakur and the Biggie stuff that's coming out. And I think I'm going to cover it on another video because it got to do with Biggie. And I'm going to break all that down, you know, with, you know, the stuff that Gene, I think his name Gene, said. And it's really, really deep. But let's get back to the point. So he wanted him to go into a cell. They was going to put him in a cell and get Suge Knight to talk to him about the Tupac murder. Now, keep in mind, it's highly rumored that P. Diddy had something to do with the murder of Tupac and Biggie. That's what I think. That's my opinion. And Gene, which know a lot about Pac, he was his bodyguard. He not saying that he did, but he won't say that he didn't. He's saying he don't know. But the things that he's saying is leading up to it, which is, you know, amongst other things and other people have said also that's close to it. But let's keep going. Yeah, so he wanted him to get all the information he could on the murder of Tupac Shakur. And I'd had to relate because he had a relationship with Suge Knight and he wrote a song for a documentary that Nick Cannon was supposed to be doing. Don't know what happened with that. These are things that can be verified too, by the way. So when I got back to a facility, I was contacted by Defendant Combs on the same cell phone. Defendant Combs told me after I got all the info I could out of Suge Knight, he needed me to find somebody to kill Suge Knight, and he would pay us both $100,000. They say he gave dude $1 million to get Pac, right? But he'd pay us both $100,000. But you know what? When you pay people in jail or prison, it's cheaper, you know, because you're more desperate and you need it, right? So before the loan TRO was issued and I was moved to MCIC for my safety and to monitor retaliation against me, because that was the only facility with overlapping cameras. While at MCIC, I had several conversations with Defendant Combs, who assured me he was making on getting me free, as I assured him one of my people would take care of Suge Knight after he went to bed. It says to board. In January of 2021, SB 132 was enacted by Governor Gavin Newsom, and I'm sure that's why he wanted to file the lawsuit, including Gavin Newsom in it, because that was the cause of it. And I get that. He's correct. Defendant Combs asked me if I wanted to go to the women's prison. He asked him, did he want to go to the women's prison? Because P. Diddy got the hookups and he gonna make that happen, right? So I told him they wouldn't do it because I'm falsely labeled a sex offender. Oh yeah, that's what it said. My glass. Oh, wow. I'm falsely labeled a sex offender with a lewd, whatever, act against a minor. Defendant Combs told me he was plugged in with Kathleen Allison So he would make that happen for me, but I could never speak on what he did to me. And I had to make that happen with Suge Knight. Wow. So don't tell. I told him it was good. You know what I'm saying? A few months later, I had a video call with Kathleen Allison and MCIC warden. Kathleen Allison said they would be approving my transfer to the women's prison in spite of the R suffix based on our mutual friend. And she knows I'm transgender because she spoke with Dr. Clayball, who raped me at SVSP, but I would owe her a favor. But wait, before we continue, I do want to mention this. So this same guy, that keep calling himself a woman in this lawsuit, the feds might dismiss the lawsuit because you keep saying her when it's him or he or I or whatever the case is. But anyway, he did get transferred to the women's prison. I want to make sure I make note of this. He did get transferred to the women's prison. And guess what he did when he got there? Allegedly, he started raping the women in the prison. See, this crazy law in California is ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about ridiculous. Here it is. You done put a whole man in a prison with women, and this dude got 25 to life. And you put him in the prison with women. You know, I would dread to hear that some little boy wanted to fight my daughter, or young man or young teen wanted to fight my daughter. And because I would be like, man, that's a dude. Like, she should never be in a position where she would have to end up fighting the dude. Right. But imagine your kid going to jail. You got an 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, whatever, or 52-year-old daughter. She go to prison. And, you know, maybe she was, stealing too much or whatever the case is. And now she locked up with a man. Your daughter in a prison with a man. That'd be one of the worst things, man, to go through. I remember my son was in prison with men, and it just man, it's not a good thing. It's not a good feeling. I wouldn't even want to imagine my daughter. But the key is to keep them out of prison. I get that. But if they are there, you don't want them in no dang on prison with no man. And he's 6'2", 6'7", something crazy. That's ridiculous. So anyway, a few months later, I had a video call with Kathleen Allison and MCIC warden. And Kathleen Allison said they'll be approving my transfer to women's prison. Spider. Okay, I got that part. All right, August 26, 2011, I was transferred to women's prison, Central California Women's Prison Facility in Chowchilla, California. The first thing I noticed upon arriving in a reception building 503, now watch this, California, was there were no condom dispensers in the day room. Now, again, when he wrote that, I did look that up. I had to check on that. And it's true. They have condom dispensers in prison. Condoms in prison. From prison. Not inmates sneaking them in from prison to prevent AIDS and all that different stuff. But I think that this should be a conspiracy charge against the federal government. I can break that down if you want me to. Let me know. Let me know in the comment section. If you do, I'll break it down. But this could be a conspiracy charge against the government, because if I give somebody a gun and they go rob somebody and they find out they got the gun from me, conspiracy, prison, jail, whatever, y'all giving people condoms to break the law when it's clearly illegal. So you're giving people tools to protect themselves while they break the law. That's like giving somebody a glove so he don't put his fingerprints on at the crime scene. So while they break the law, and then you get to get away with that. That is, y'all got me stuttering. That is crazy. That's crazy. But in late 2021, early 2022, acting warden Mike Paulers called me to the BPH and forced me to perform. I ain't getting into all that stuff. I don't even talk about it. So the next couple of pages are just a bunch of stuff about what they did to him and all that, which I think some of it is true, and I think some of it is lies, just the way it sounds. In mid-January, I am Ross was placed in solitary confinement for false allegations for assaulting me Days later, Sergeant Brown and Sergeant Contreras, along with I Am Smith and I Am Awori, strategically had been. That's just it. The difference between us is I'm black and was born male, while she's white and born female. And so he's at a disadvantage because he was born male. So that's the next racism stuff that everybody finna start coming up with. So the next few papers are not really much. You know what I'm saying? It's not really saying much. But anyway, that's the deal on. He is filing a lawsuit against P. Diddy. And P. Diddy, man, dude, you raping transgenders and everything. I really wish I knew who these NBA players were. Can y'all figure that out? Let me see. Maybe the Lakers. I don't know. But this could be anybody. But I'm just saying, it's crazy, man. But if y'all figure out who these NBA players were, put that in the comment section. Look through it and read it again, and let us know. But Diddy is not stopping, and I'm gonna bet that there would be plenty more people stepping up. Now, here's the problem that they got. Some people gonna be telling the truth, and some people gonna be lying. It's gonna be some lying, but that's the hustle. You know what I'm saying? If somebody was around and they figure they can jump in on it and they need a little bread, there it is. You know what I'm saying? People are enticed by those things. So it is what it is. But I just want to bring y'all the information about the new lawsuit that ain't nobody talking about. I have not heard it not one time, because actually I stumbled across it by mistake doing some research on some other stuff and saw the paperwork. I said, whoa, he what? Oh, man. Another one. So now this would be the first dude. This would be the first dude to step up and so I think ain't no telling. But as far as I know, this is the first dude that's stepping up and suing P. Diddy. So like I said, we will keep y'all tuned with this, and we will not let you down. We're gonna follow this thing and really get into it. So listen, do yourself a favor and wake up before you go to sleep. Peace. We out of here.